Namaskar. Hello, friends. Today we are going to look at a few metaphors that are used to describe this world and human life in it. We will consider about four or five different metaphors, although there may be many more discussed by various thinkers and philosophers in the past. So here I go. The first metaphor is of Gandharva Nagari, that is a city in the clouds. Imagine yourself lying on your back on the cool lawns in a garden and looking at the sky in the month of October. To start with, the sky may be clear. After a while, some clouds appear in the sky. The cloud formations may appear to you as different animals at one time or as various other configurations at other times. You may even imagine a skyline of a city in the way the clouds appear at one point in time. This is referred to as Gandharva Nagari in the scriptures. After a while, the clouds simply vanish. This perceptible creation that we live through as life is akin to the above situation of cloud watching. The life is like a Gandharva Nagari. It starts from nothing and vanishes into nothing, only transitorily passing through a brief and illusory phase. We should therefore simply watch it passively, like we would watch the clouds in the sky, without letting it afflict our consciousness. Second metaphor is that of a kaleidoscope. A kaleidoscope is a tube shaped optical instrument that is rotated to produce a succession of symmetrical designs by means of mirrors reflecting the constantly changing patterns made by bits of colored glass at one end of the tube. A viewer slowly rotates the tube and a new pattern of glass bits comes on display every time. The viewer is not having a preconceived pattern which he designs and creates willfully, but it just happens. Could this creation be something similar? That can explain the tremendous variety in the creation that simply happens without the creator desiring or pre-designing a particular pattern. Any particular pattern in the kaleidoscope at a given point in time is of no consequence to the observer. He just enjoys it and goes for a new pattern. Thus, every pattern is momentary and inconsequential too. A spiritual seeker understands that the happenings in his life from time to time are momentary and inconsequential to the Creator, just like the patterns in a kaleidoscope are to the observer. He knows that it is only because his consciousness is limited to the body that he assumes a limited identity and hence perceives all the duality. So he is neither excited nor pained by them. He does not blame his luck or the Creator for any pain that he has to suffer. He is just a witness and keeps moving on from one pattern to the next. Another metaphor is that of a car on a downward slope in the mountains. Those of us who know driving would be aware that when you are driving down a slope, like on mountain roads, you are not supposed to switch off the engine. The reason is when the engine is off, the gears won't work and the brakes may not do their job if the speed is too high. So you should let the engine be running and drive in a lower gear. Of course, using the accelerator is out of question. That is safe driving down the slope on mountain roads. Life is like a steep downward slope paved with desires. Our body is like a car going down that slope. The engine of the car is Rajas Guna, which is activity. Tamas Guna, which is ignorance and wrong notions, is the accelerator. Sattva Guna, which is pious, godly outlook, is the brake. Materialistic attitude is the top gear. Spiritual attitude is the second gear. If we drive through life in the top gear, that is with materialistic attitude, we will be hurtling down the slope of life, ever accelerating, and will be crashing soon. If we are using the accelerator of Tamas Guna, our speed will go on increasing beyond the dangerous level much earlier and lead to a quicker crash. If we are afraid of going down the slope of life, we may erroneously switch off the engine, that is, avoid karma or action. But without vairagya, that is, dispassion, the gravitational force of desires will cause us to accelerate continuously even if we avoid action. This will ultimately lead us to crash anyway. So, what is the best way? Let the engine of karma be running. Be in the second gear of spiritual attitude and keep your foot on the brake pedal of sattva guna and drive safely down the slope of life. Another metaphor is that of a traveling on a sphere. Imagine a sphere. If you start from any point on the surface of the sphere in one particular direction and continue in that direction, you will come back to the same point by traversing a distance of pi multiplied by d, where d is the diameter of the sphere and pi is the mathematical constant with a value of 22 divided by 7. So, whichever direction one takes, so long as he does not change his direction, he will definitely return to the same point by traversing exactly the same distance. Now, think of many people starting out from one particular point of the sphere and traversing at the same speed but in different directions without changing their respective original direction. They will all return to the same point at the same time. However, each one of them would encounter many experiences during his journey, some similar to, and many others quite different from those of the others, depending on the part of the sphere he happens to pass through. Human life is something similar. We all start as souls that are exactly alike. We assume individual bodies which are like vehicles to undertake the journey of life. We all go through our own individual lives. It is akin to traveling in different directions on the surface of the sphere. Each one of us experiences many things, some similar to and others quite different from those experienced by other embodied souls. But we all have to return to the same point where we started. Many people, however, keep changing their direction due to something on the sides looking attractive to them that causes them to go astray, and they take much longer to return to the starting point. That is the role of desires in our life. However, a rare few people stick to the straight path, avoiding the temptations of the various attractions around by controlling their desires. Thus, they manage to return to where they started in good time. In other words, they attain self realization in the minimum time. Thank you. We will stop here today. I'll see you the next time. Bye.